Okay.
Okay.
Abby, mute one of your things.
Thank you. I was wondering where the feedback was coming from.
It's from
It
you.
was me. Great. Okay. Do you want to continue to elaborate on that? I
Okay.
have more.
So what I try to look at is the founder and what
Mhm.
their idea is. I'm more excited about the founder than the idea. You can give me a founder with a bad idea, they're going to tweak it and they're going to be creative and it's going to end up be a different idea, but it'll be the one that's successful. You give a perfect idea to someone who is not an executor, one that does not follow through with things, they're never going to succeed.
As part of your, well, I suppose I'm thinking more like mergers or buyouts. What do you look for in a pitch deck?
Ah, great question. I've looked at a few thousand pitch decks, and uh, um, first question, are you full time in this? So, what I often will ask is give me the LinkedIn profiles of your full time management team. It could be one person, could be two, could be three, but at least I want to look at those LinkedIn profiles. And what I'm trying to ascertain is that they're pregnant with the deal, meaning they're full time. They're not, it's a side gig and they're not going to really be there. The other thing with the deal is you want to know how much they've got in the deal. So I'm asking how much cash do you personally have in the deal?
Equity.
No, cash.
Okay.
I want to know that the founder is not going to walk away because they have no money in the deal. And if they don't have much money in the deal, that's okay. Tell me what your friends and family have put in. Okay. because
Mm-hmm.
because I looked at a deal the other day. The guy's friends and family uh, didn't put any money in, and they have no interest in putting in. And I said, "Why would that be?" And he says, "Well, I've screwed him over on two other deals." But I wouldn't know the answer to that without asking why his own family wouldn't put in.
Interesting. Interesting. So I'm
Oh,
thinking in terms of balance sheet because that's like my mind.
okay. So I used to work for Deloitte and Touche, so I know the accounting
Mm-hmm.
side
Mm-hmm.
pretty well. I don't understand your question with the balance sheet.
Well, I'm thinking like between equity and liabilities is like what is that what you're looking at?
No, no,
Yeah, I know.
this is
You
early on. There's no liabilities, generally
well, if
speaking.
mom and dad loaned money to the company, would they
They
owe it
didn't. They
back or
invested it. They did it through a
okay,
safe
so
note or they did it through debt or something like that. Generally, uh, they're not they're not going to do a loan that they're going to require be paid back.
yeah,
They're going to do a loan. If they do a loan, it's going to be convertible to equity when the company takes
right.
off.
Right. That's you answered my
Okay.
question.
And
Exactly.
so that asks the other question about governance. Do you have advisors to your company? What are their
Mm.
bios? I sit as advisor to various companies, and I have some startups that will just literally send the stock certificate to my office and I'll say, "What's this for?" And I said, "I don't accept stock certificates for nothing." And they said, "Well, what we is to hear that." And I end up helping these companies. Sometimes I'll have two companies that I'm backing in the same field, and I'll try to get one to buy the other,
Mm.
different things like that, or figure out strategic connections. You got a nice team on this call. You got probably a lot of ideas, and it's really going to be down to how many can actually execute and stick with the plan to make it happen.
That's always what it comes down to. A lot
I'm
of
not,
people have
I,
ideas
I,
and
I wasn't born in the United States.
mhm.
I may not look like an immigrant, but we're all kind of immigrants. I came And I came from Canada, which is relatively easy because of the language. But when I came here, I had no credit history in the United States. So I couldn't get any credit cards.
Hmm.
I was unbankable. And it was frustrating because I had already built various companies. But you start out and you just do different things and you kind of make your way, but you
Hmm.
hustle. I'm really looking forward to maybe connecting with one or two of you. I do a lot of, travel, vacation travel now for a good part of my, activities. I was just over in Europe. I was in Africa and Kenya on safari. I'm going back over to Europe for the Christmas markets. Um, I enjoy those type of things. I also enjoy helping people with their different deals. So if you have a business plan, you have an investor deck, you have something, please email it over to me. And by the way, my main company, the News USA, does guaranteed placement of feature stories on thousands of news sites across the United States. We have 32,000 national clients. I built the company and I own 100% of it.
Awesome.
So you got me on this call, and this is my first time on this call.
I put you
Maybe
on
I
the
got on the
spot.
wrong Zoom, but
I
since you have me here,
appreciate
let's
you
let's have some fun.
answering. Yeah. Anyone have any thoughts on pitch decks, or what direction are you all like where your head's at?
So, can I go?
Mhm.
Rick, I had a quick question for you. You mentioned that you do look at the cash, the amount of cash the owners put or their family or friends put, right? So I was just wondering, do you make any exceptions in terms of the revolutionary nature of the idea, for instance, if it's gonna be a paradigm shift or of that sort, which will bring in, you
Okay.
know,
So if you've ever watched Shark Tank or in the UK Dragon's Den or any of these things, every
yeah.
idea is revolutionary. Every idea is amazing, and it's going to be the new billion-dollar idea.
Yeah,
So I look at the idea, but honestly, I'm looking at the person.
yeah,
Because even if it's the best, amazing new idea, if they can't implement, you're not going anywhere with it. And by
right.
the way, today was really cool because I had just met someone at DC Startup Week and they sent me their pitch deck and it was totally crap, but this was a really nice person. And so I had received a really good pitch deck and I sent it over to them. I said, "You take a look at this one." And it was really
Okay.
clever because that not only did they give me the pitch deck, but they attached a safe agreement to it. So you actually
Mhm.
have the document if you're going to put money in. And
Mm,
they invited me to an event where they're pitching to a room full of investors so that
mm,
I could bring my other investors and myself if I
mm,
wanted to, after
mm.
having looked at their pitch deck, after looking at their subscription agreement, and now they're kind of ready to close me if I show up. And I thought that was really well done. And I'm certainly
Right.
happy to share that with any one of you so you can see what that is. My email is in the chat box too, as well as my
Sure.
LinkedIn and my other stuff. Question?
Sure.
Another question? Nate, is that you raising a hand?
Hmm.
Yes, sir. Um, is there any particular reason that you like pre-seed or early founders?
Okay,
Any
good.
particular reason?
So, so I've been running this company, and what we do is we specialize in placing stories on thousands of news sites every single month, month after month, year after year. And I've got pretty much all of the top 200 public relations companies and most of the major national brands as clients to pay me cash. But I got a call, and you can read this on my site. I sent you guys the link in the box. I got a call from a young entrepreneur in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, who was working out of a church basement with his buddy. They had no money and they had no revenue. And they were trying to raise $300,000 and they were having trouble. And he called me up and he says, "Listen, I want what you do because I heard about it and I want to really scale my company and I got all these ideas, but I have no money." And so he was pretty energetic, and I liked him over the phone. And he proposed an idea. He says, look, do this media campaign for me. I'm going to give you half in the form of equity, restricted equity in my company, and the other half in 5 post-dated checks. But you got to call me each month before you would cash the check to make sure I have it, or I may need you to wait an extra month. Well, that company went from 0 to 50 million with my help. And I bought a house with my shares, and the founder bought an island in the Caribbean and a jet. You can look it up. Quigley Corp. Their product was Coldies, the zinc lozenge that reduces the duration of the common cold. And I've done a bunch of these deals, so I've been very happy with that. That's why I will sit on a call like this to find the next Coldies zinc lozenge, or the next Rembrandt tooth whiteners, or the next, up and coming company that we can put the energy behind and take an equity position in.
This is very interesting to me. I want to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions. I could go. Yeah, go ahead.
Hershey,
Hello, Mr. Rick. How are you?
I'm great.
All right. So I had a question, something really quick. As you said before, you look at the bet on a business before anything else, right?
I look at the individual
You look at the individual?
first and foremost.
Okay, I thought it was the bet. I mean, the investment or the money you put on the business. Got it.
Hey, you're in 12th grade. That's amazing. You've got that kind of energy. I'm
Thank you,
paying
sir.
attention to the things you say, by the way. So, you probably will have an exciting idea. You may have some challenges with implementing it. Most of my positions are in the United States, but I have ones abroad too.
I'm from the United States. I'm from Cary, North Carolina. So
Okay, great, great. Well,
yes.
my wife's a Tar Heel, so we know North Carolina,
Oh, that's cool.
Chapel Hill.
So, oh yeah. So I had another question.
Go.
So I've not I or anyone from who I know have never bet on my business, especially the consulting or like the networking business, which I do, and they're not full time. But what is one thing
Well,
you would
those two businesses you just spelled out don't sound investable. They sound like you're selling your time, or you're selling someone else's business. So I don't think they're investable. I think you want to have something that you're really going to be able to scale up, and we'll all make money on it.
Mhm. But I was just looking at like what are some of the aspects in this scenario which you would be like 100% sure about, investing or like acquiring the business so that I could keep working on that.
I don't know. It's the individual. You
It's
could
just
have a
individual.
stupid you could have a stupid idea, but if you're the individual, you're going to end up turning that stupid idea into something great.
So it's all about the execution and
Yes.
the okay, got it. Yep. Question. That was my question. Yep. Thank you so much.
Next question.
I have,
Carrie.
go ahead if someone else does.
Carrie raised his hand
Okay.
right away.
Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going? So the question that I got today, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background about myself. So I started my first company at 16. It failed. It was a t-shirt company. Should never started it, but it failed. And then I ran into a person and I started a cleaning company, and I scaled it at 18 to maybe like $10,000 to $20,000 a month. I ended up leaving that company, selling it, in the way that I could have sold it, right? I was young, so I didn't really know what I was doing. But I gave it off and I went into business with someone else, which was a pool construction company that was doing maybe like $80,000 to $100,000 a month. And since then, we have both left that company. He currently owns a jet manufacturing company, and I, work alongside him in that way, just to help him out. But I'm currently like finding my way into my new vision of where I'm going to go. The question that I have today for you, after that background about myself, what kind of founder investor relationships have worked well for you in the past? And the reason why I ask this question is because I know decisions is a very important thing when it comes to scaling up a company. You make the wrong decision, I mean, you go out of business. So how do you navigate letting the founder make the choices, but also, risking your money on that person?
So I like the fact that you step up to the bat and you're swinging. Okay, you keep trying different things. I'm a little disappointed that you don't really have a history of staying with them and seeing them through to success. And that would be a little bit of a yellow flag or red flag. You know, why does he keep getting something going and then he bails? Okay, I don't know. It's kind of like if I was in relationship with somebody and I'm dating them and then they're a runaway bride and they've done that 6 times. I'm not sure I want to even go down that route of courting them. So this next thing that you do, you're probably going to need to be really focused and love it and go with it.
That's amazing.
Great advice. That was a great question. Hershey, I wanted to come back to you for a second. Rick, I don't know. I mean, I've dealt with a couple merger and acquisitions where it was a service-based business. Which by the sounds of it, I think you'll agree that they're handled quite differently than like a product-based or tech-based where you're selling actually something other than yourself or your time.
Yeah, because you're really heavily risk. You've got a big risk because it's payroll and staff that you're really depending on.
Yeah, what I've seen, my experience has been, especially accounting firms, I've done landscaping, other consulting type of businesses, just the industry that I'm in. Most of the time, the way a sale of that entity would go is they're really buying your book of business.
Correct.
So,
Your
and then
accounts.
they may put you on payroll as a result if that's a structure that you're interested in, but usually they're buying your book of business and it's not really like there's nothing to invest in per se.
No,
Like you
they'll.
don't need equipment
I
or
was just doing that one with a CPA firm that'd been around a
yeah,
long time, and
CPAs do it all the time.
what it basically was is an earnout situation.
Mhm.
I'm like, you're not getting multipliers. You've got to stay around for a year. You've got
Mhm.
to answer questions, and if you are increasing the business, we'll adjust and give you a little more. If it comes up short, then we got a concern. But we're
Right,
basically taking over your accounts, and you got to keep your accounts alive to make them worth anything. Anyway, that's a different conversation
right,
than coming up with something that you can scale that's going to attract investors.
right. And what's the need for the investors ultimately? If it's a service-based business, what would the need be?
I'm not sure there is.
I'm not sure there is either. Your sales would directly correlate with your labor input, so you shouldn't need much investment other than time. I had another question for you, Rick, which I'm so sorry to put you on the spot. Like I don't
No, Abigail, I really
usually. Okay.
appreciate this. I'm very excited about it, but
Cool.
and I want to be helpful to everybody. You don't have to buy my time. You can get the expertise right here, right now, and who knows what gems are in this group. So
Right.
go ahead, ask.
Right. Usually, we'll bounce around a lot, but I feel like I've put you on the
Cut through
spot.
the
But I
crap.
think
Let's go.
we have a unique opportunity having you here, and so I'm just gonna use it. If someone is looking to get into investing, angel investing, do you have any recommendations, like where to begin, how to begin?
Don't.
Okay.
Why
Why?
would one want to get into angel investing?
There's someone who's usually in this group. He was actually here for just a moment. He's a financial advisor. So I'm thinking of him specifically, where he wants to help small business owners grow, scale. But as a part of it, at least the conversations that I've had with him in the past have been consulting as well through that. So, how to properly manage, how to properly budget. but I know he's very interested in that. So this question is kind of for him.
Well,
Gary.
here's the tricky thing. There's a lot of consultants and advisors,
Mm,
whether they're lawyers, whether they're accountants, whether they're business advisors, they all want to hook these entrepreneurs or these founders up to monthly retainer agreements. And the founders don't have the money and they're not ready to sign up to commit to those kind of expenditures.
I
So
agree with that.
so when you say he wants to be an angel investor, is he going to write checks or is he saying that, but he'd actually like to get advisor, positions and roles where he's getting equity, he's getting directing
Yeah.
any of the funds that get raised into his pocket,
I think that's a good question. For one, I agree with you on the consulting. As an accountant, it is a saturated industry. And to be very direct, and this may hurt some feelings, but that's typically how I go. It's trendy, and there are a lot of people giving advice. I don't know, ChatGPT can do a lot for people, I guess. But I know for Gary, speaking on behalf of Gary, it is not for a consulting desire. He has specific financial advisory clients that he would like to see. There's a scenario specifically where someone has a car mechanic shop and he would like to get into auto sales. So he's got a growth plan. He just doesn't have the capital to convert his current space into a space that will allow for vehicle sales.
right?
That was one specific example. So he doesn't have the capital himself to invest. He wants to start like a group situation. And we've only talked
Okay,
about it.
it's really easy to get capital for those type of things. You just need to understand what the plan is and what he's looking to do. It could be real estate involved. It could be an ongoing business involved. It depends what the asset is or what the thing that you're investing in and what's the security.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Maria.
Hey, hello everybody. Rick, I had a question for you. So you're the CEO of your own company. You work with, well, you have more than 32,000 clients, if I remember correctly. So if you work with people and you have that many clients, you have to have employees, and employees are very susceptible to change. So how do you manage when people resist change or change blockers in your business?
You all, I don't want to. I don't want to say this on tape being recorded, but basically you have to be almost a dictator. At the end of the day, somebody needs to make the decisions. Otherwise, things just, carry on. You want to be the disruptor. You want to be the person that says, okay, like I sent out a thing, I think 2 days ago to my different staff, different groups of staff saying, listen, we're all going to learn how to do ChatGPT, and I want everybody to be able to prove it back that you're able to do certain tasks in ChatGPT because AI is coming. But you got to prove it back to me that you're proficient in it. So that's kind of how I approach these different things. It's like I come up with what we need to do, and then we want to implement it. But yeah.
I'd like to open that question up to anyone else who manages a team as well. Nate. Yeah. Terry, go ahead.
So just a little bit of backstory. I like to give backstory before I give advice, especially because if you guys are listening, you don't know what I do. So in the pool industry, I had 78 employees at the height of it. And one thing I can say is like, yes, I agree with Rick over here. You could be a dictator. Like that's a way to go about it. But if you're in a company where like either you're younger or people don't kind of sort of respect you in a way, it's very difficult to be a dictator because people start to resent you and then they start to do things to do their job and not to do their job well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you cash their check, so they got to do what you say. But I would say more so learn the person and don't hire people that you don't have to hire people that you get along with, because if you do, then your company might not grow. But just don't. Everybody is not you. Remember that, right? So when you speak to people, get to know them and know their job,
Oh, yeah.
or at least how to do it. So when you talk to them on a personal level and try to motivate them. If they need motivation, right, they're not obviously the person that you want on their team, but try to motivate them to do their job well and put incentives in place. Like what I did is I did a bonus structure where if they hit certain goals, then they get more bonuses. And I took my whole team out on vacation 3 times a year, right? So we went to, amusement parks and just things of that nature, just to lighten up the team and make sure everybody feel vibrant, right? And that's one way you can do it. You just got to make sure it fits in your financial plan and in your budget.
Yeah, I think that's great too.
I
Helia?
think that's a great idea. I give them cash bonuses when they don't expect it.
Yeah.
There we go. Another way. That's amazing. Yeah.
And while I talk about being a dictator, you don't ask for things that you know that they can't do or is going to push them too hard. It's a balance. You want to make sure it's something that you know they can do and will,
I agree with Rick on that statement.
because it's better for them. AI was much more efficient for some of our different roles.
Helia, did you have
Yeah.
something also?
Yeah. I have a question actually. So I currently work full time and I have a business on the side. So and I'm actually fully committed to growing and scaling my company. It's an AI agency company, so we build chatbots and then some other applications done to help small businesses, automate tasks. So Rick, I have a question. Like for someone like so for a company like mine, so what advice would you give to a startup like mine that's looking to scale and then stand out in a very competitive market right now?
Remind me, I was drinking water. What's the business?
That's an AI automation agency or consultancy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Consultancy.
essentially we build chatbots. We do apps for retail companies.
I got it.
It's like
Okay.
AI automation. Yeah.
So here's the challenge you face. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of these companies that all say they do what you just described.
Okay.
So it's kind of like whatever city you're in, when I come out of the airport and I see a whole line of taxis, okay, and they all say I can take you to the center of town, why would I choose one over another? But this is where the marketing comes in, where you start using your brain.
Right.
So when I come out at that line of taxis, I've talked to one of the guys and I said, hold up this big sign that says, "Art free Wi-Fi in my taxi." You get all the business customers. You want to differentiate yourself.
Right. And that's what we're trying to do, because I'm the founder and I work with 2 other developers and a consultant.
But you use the word trying to do.
I'm actually
meaning you haven't done it.
No, actually, I think trying is the wrong word, but I'm actually we have these cool applications that we've built, like for retail, for salons, for like voice AI automation, and we're starting. I just launched like about
I would
2
be
weeks
happy to
ago.
look at your business plan or investor deck and give you some comments. I tend
I'll
to work
definitely
around the clock, so
Sure.
be prepared.
I will for sure.
Nate, did you have something as well?
Yeah, I think Maria asked the change question, right? And I got something for Helia too.
Payroll, staff.
So when it comes to staff and introducing change, is more so right, not being a dictator. I feel like Rick, it might have came across as sounding like dictatorish, like what Curry said, but it's
I
more
don't
so
think
the
my staff
authority.
would say that I'm a dictator at all.
Yeah, but it's more so the authority. I feel like when you have a vision that everybody believes in, right, they don't necessarily question. Like if I tell my team I want to implement like a new process, they don't necessarily question it because they know it's most likely what's best for the company, most likely what's best for them. It's more so the trust factor that you usually establish with like among, I don't want to say subjects, but among your employees and your team. But
Peasants.
yeah, like it's just a
I
level
encourage
of
them to challenge me and say, listen, let's not do it that way. Do it this way instead. And don't shoot them down for that. I want to get that from people.
Yeah, and it's all about making like the culture collaborative, right? If I introduce something and be like, why are we doing this way? I should be able to explain why it's a benefit that we start doing this way. And if they have feedback, then we can go from there. But it's not so much we're doing this now and that's how it's going to be. I don't care if it works, if it doesn't work. Like that's
No.
not really how I don't think anybody built their team, at least a successful team.
No.
Because that leads to a lot of employees leaving, one. And two, bad culture and bad reviews, and that's bad PR. And I'm PR.
Okay, great.
Corey, oh, go ahead,
Corey.
Nate. Sorry.
And in terms of Kalia, the best thing, right? A lot of people that do AI, right? So you
Right.
can separate it by a lot of things. One easiest way is your brand, right? What's the story? What's the approach? What's the values? Why are you different, right? Just natural branding and marketing, right?
Correct. Yeah.
The other way is what are you doing unique in terms of your business process, right? How are you dominating the market in a sense that this AI is completely different in this because we do it like this. This is our process and getting clients. This is how we treat clients, right? But the easiest way is to kind of show the experience and the brand behind it. I feel
Right.
like that's easy to scale at a startup position since you really don't have no stake in the market at all.
Right. Right.
So just start that and you'll be good.
All right. Thank you.
Corey.
Just doing, I was going to comment real quick on the management and leadership section. Military, I worked for a bunch of Fortune 500 companies in my time, and it really boils down to having a good culture. And as a leader, if you don't understand your culture and the environment that you're working in, it's hard to make anyone do anything. And part of that is understanding your crew and having everyone on that same page to have a cohesive team. That way, when change does come, it's a team effort and everyone's into the change because of the culture.
I'm going to piggyback off of that because every single week, what I'm about to say comes up, and it is core values. Knowing your core values, hiring your team based on your core values, that will ensure when you make a decision, they're going to follow because your core values and their core values are in alignment and they trust you automatically. Corey, did you have something else?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. Hershey?
Oh, I had a question about this thing. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the question was, how to keep clients genuinely hooked with the offer or with the consulting or the people we're making the offer, and how can we like make them feel we are the right choice?
Can I answer this question? Maybe I'm not
Yep.
the best.
First.
But from my experience, starting my cleaning company when I was like 17, if you have a good offer, clients will be hooked. If you do not have a good product, service, or anything, you will have a very difficult time keeping clients because they don't want what you have to offer and you're trying to force them to take it. If you have some AI program that you think is amazing, a product market fit is a very big thing that I think a lot of people kind of shy away from. If you don't have a good product and the market isn't ready or the client isn't ready, I mean, like you can't force them to give you your money, right? Like every client that I've done, you know, let's say major, a deal with, they needed what I had to offer, or their customer needed it, or somebody needed it, right? You really can't sell things that people don't need. I mean, you can, but if you're trying to innovate, it's better for someone to need it. It's just a lot easier.
I'm going to
Gotcha.
piggyback off that also, especially, I don't typically call myself a consultant because I'm very specifically an accountant, but I do consult through that experience. And I can say that I get a lot of my referrals because I show up authentically, which is, very direct. I don't beat around the bush, and I show up as myself. And the most aligned clients show up for me for that, and they appreciate the way that I do business because they don't want someone who's gonna tiptoe around what they need to hear. If their cash flow is poor, I'm gonna call them out and be like, your cost of production is way too high, you need to keep an eye on that, or you're drawing way too much equity out of the business, you need to strategize this a little bit better and do something better. And I just I have my approach and that's respected. Nate.
Can you repeat the question again? Because I feel like I can help, but I didn't hear the question fully.
Yeah, of course. So I was just like curious to know about like how to like make the clients I mean the prospects to be like genuinely hooked with the offer and like how to make them feel that going with us or choosing us is the right choice.
Okay, so prospects are not clients, so you're trying to get them to become clients, and you
Mm-hmm.
want them to be essentially to go to your offer.
Yes, sir.
Um, I'll say just ask yourself, why would they go to your offer? Like just build it out like from their perspective. Why would they go to your offer? Why would they choose you instead of somebody else? So do a competitor analysis. Um, what's the benefit of your offer, right? What does this offer provide for my unique experience? And like just basically re-engineer from the customer standpoint or the prospect standpoint since they're not a client yet, and just go back and just keep asking questions. And then once you have an answer, ask a question about that and just keep diving deeper and deeper. And then from there, you will be able to say, okay, this is at least two things of why they should get my offer. And then you can market from there and start branding yourself from there.
Got
Um,
you. Thank you so much. That was really helpful.
let me add to that. Nate is taking it head on. That's probably not the approach I would take if you're reasonably financed. In other words, if you have some cash reserve, I would be more inclined to identify some prospective clients and actually do work for them for free. Establish 3 happy clients that could say good things about you, feel that they got real value, which they did, or they didn't, but I assume they would if they didn't pay. Um, in your target market, of course, your target type people, but get them on board so you have somebody you can point to that you've done something for. The challenge, Nate, in that Hershey's early on is what I'm determining here, and doesn't have that installed client base that he could give referrals to. And it's a trust issue. Okay. So we need to get over that trust issue. And if he keeps working on what his unique selling proposition is, people still may not listen to him. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to give them an edge, and the edge it may be something as simple as this. You've got a group of people here on this call, and if you put it out that says, hey, I can do LinkedIn, blah, 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 or I can do something or other for people, if you've got a company in your midst that you'd like me to do that for, I need to I get a reference. If you put your hand up, I'll follow up with you. I'll look at the company, I'll promote their website, or I'll do whatever it is, the magic that I do. And then you'll get I'd quickly pick up 3 installed happy people, and then you could leverage that. And then you can say,
Mhm.
let me show you the case study. I had this guy, this is what happened.
Yep. And Rick, I completely agree. I forgot Hershey is a senior. So I was going off the perspective that you already had clients and you're just looking for new
Mm.
ones. His
Hershey,
offer is completely right. Free gets you into the door. So if you haven't worked for anybody, so you don't have no
He's in
testimonial.
12th grade. What's his
yeah,
credibility going to be? I
yeah.
want to see
Dang, I don't
results.
know. I was
I'm
working
just
in
making a suggestion on how to break the ice faster. That's all.
Hershey, what kind of consulting do you do specifically?
Can't say like consulting. We usually like help local business to scale. Like, some businesses are like just fall behind, right? They don't know about the new trends, what's happening around. So we just find the new trends which would like help them in order to like scale their business. That's like the basic idea I had. I have to put this into execution. So I think what Mr. Rick is trying to say is like the behind the scenes before I get to a prospective, and what Mr. Nate said. So it was like after the prerequisite or after I build a credibility or like, after I have some proven work
yeah,
is what I got.
Yeah.
So is that
mine
what
is
I'm
more
what you're
so
saying?
once you have an actual business. His is more
Hmm.
so to get your business started. So
Yeah, got
both
it.
can be implemented, but for you right now, I'll probably say go with Rick plan first.
Mm-hmm.
After that,
I'm,
call in Nate. He's got some great ideas.
yeah.
And then
So
get
I'm going
Abigail
to
to handle
ask
your
you a
books.
couple more questions, Hershey, because I'm still unclear about what you do.
Sure.
Like, how do you help people? So you help them determine trends. Okay. What
He's
kind
got
of
to
trends?
flush this out.
Marketing trends, AI trends. Like, let's say I'm your first client, or not your first client. Let's say I want to work with you. I have an accounting firm. It's service-based. I have remote employees. I have a team of 5 plus myself. What are some questions you would ask me on a sales call? Like take me through what do you want
So
to
I
do
just
for me?
made a checkbox so that I just don't like fall behind or get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Let me open that really quick. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
Just
of
like a second.
course.
So we usually, before we have the meeting set up, I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking of sending this Microsoft Forms to the prospect so that before we meet them or like consult them, we could have a better picture of the business and the problem they're looking for.
Can you
So
drop it in
this,
the chat for
yeah, of
all of
course, I'll
us? I'm
just
sure
drop
you'll
it. I'll
get,
just drop it in the chat
yeah.
box. And so far, we worked with I was like, as Mr. Rick said, building case studies. We do have one case study. We were working with a local business around here. I mean, from here, it's back in India. So what happened was it's a beauty parlor, right? And they had like it's a non-season, so usually like they have really good business during marriage season and all that stuff. And it's January and they have like hardly 30 customers walking the entire month. So it's like in a small town countryside. So they were doing all right. They were like okay with this, but they were like, if there's a room to
Okay.
scale, we would love to
But
scale.
but here's the thing, you're going to want to have case studies in the US. You're going to want to have related type businesses, and you still haven't addressed the main elephant in the room. The
Hmm.
way you describe the business that you offer to help small businesses, there are 1,000 people who describe it that way.
Mm.
You have to figure out how to sound different. What is it you bring? Don't tell me. You have to get your message honed down on how you're different from anything else that's out there. And with the rest of you, if you have business ideas, it's just a matter of, flushing it out. And sometimes you may need to have a partner in your business, or build a little team of advisors so that they can challenge you to say, okay, is this really, are you saying it the right way? Or can we
Mm.
tweak it so that people will get right away what you do?
Yeah. Nate.
Hershey, what's one thing that y'all do for the client? What's just one thing
So
in
the
the
one
best thing?
thing
What's one
is
thing?
we try to identify the problem
Okay,
and
so
we just try
you
to
have to,
get the solution as well. But the main job for us is to identify the problem or
What was
the
the
room.
problem for the beauty salon in India?
So they had like barely any customers, right? So what we have done is we try to see like what's the trend happening around, and we found out that people usually get hooked for like if there's a giveaway or something. So what we did is like a lottery. So if they're like take a service of this much worth of service at the beauty parlor, they can like participate in the lottery, and that actually boosted their walk-ins by almost 3 times. We did like 90 people, 96 people in like 2 weeks. But in general, like in usual season, if it was without this, they had like hardly 30 customers for like 2 weeks or a month.
Okay, that's like a very specific answer, which helps me figure out.
I
I
think
mean,
right
I
now
would,
you're too general. I
yeah,
think that's what Abigail is trying to say.
yeah, it
Right
is.
now,
Thank
and I
you.
think that's what Rick and me are trying to say as well, is you're too general, like saying I help small businesses and we identify problems. We don't know what that means, right? There's a lot of things that go into that, right? There's a lot of nuance to what you're saying. So your problem right now is one, identifying one way that you help and one way that you want to continue to help, right? Can it be repeatable? Right now, it's just too general
I
for
would also
Mhm.
ask, like, what are your limits? Like if a client comes to you and says, I have serious cash flow problems, are you gonna offer to help them?
Not really.
Okay, so I would say, narrowing it down based on what you just said, I would suggest, and maybe I'm off base here and for sure say so. Marketing consultant would be like a good starting place to kind of narrow down your niche and the type of service you offer.
No,
Also,
it has to be much tighter defined.
I mean,
also,
we're going from infinite to one vertical, so we're somewhere.
Okay, real quick, where are you located? We're about to make you change your business model. Okay, but but where are you located? Where are you located right now?
So I'm in Cary, North Carolina.
North Carolina, and you
Yes, sir.
said you help local businesses. And what did
I
you say the
mean,
problem?
And
No,
his
what
only
did you say the
example
problem in
is
the
a beauty
beginning?
salon in India.
No,
yeah,
I'm
it's
saying,
just the
but also he said he wanted to help. So what's your vision? Like you want to help local business. Like what's the market like that you're trying to get into? Because you said one problem that they're facing.
So for now, I still have to figure that out. So what I started doing is like I just started to go to different types of businesses. For example, I went to a restaurant, right? So we're trying to help them as well, so that if that succeeds, we might narrow down to just restaurants only. And at the same time, we're also looking at a food and nutrition business where we proposed a plan for like let's launch a digital product so that we could resell the product and stuff like just taking class or whatever they're doing right now. So if that
so,
works out, we might narrow down to just fitness and like
hey, I actually, I
nutrition.
got a, I got a
In a
question
sense,
for Nate, Rick, and Abigail, and kind of Corey as well, because like we've been talking about this a while, but I wanted to like put out an elephant in the room. I mean, like you're 18, I mean, and you're in 12th grade. I mean, like you can come to any business. I mean, like any business worth its salt over like 20 grand a month. Like, I mean, like what do you know about growing a business that you can help anybody grow a business at 18? I mean, or in 12th grade. I mean, like if you're coming with like some AI, something, then maybe like you can spice it up and like remove your inexperience with them not knowing anything. But after like, I mean, AI is the only really new opportunity where you can like kind of convince somebody in 12th grade that you can grow their business, especially with older folks. I'm like, what can you offer from experience that can help them?
yeah, I think that's what we're trying. That's why we're about to make him
That's
change
why
the
he's
business
got to
model.
demonstrate it.
Yeah.
That's why I suggested free, prove it, and then you have 3 case studies.
I say do social media.
Yeah,
Social media
Yeah,
consultant.
because
That's the
you're
easiest way.
young and
Yeah.
like
because
you
So
do
be an
know the
AI consultant.
trends.
done
Yeah.
it.
And
And I
Yeah.
keep
would,
mentioning trends too. That's a common thing when you say trends. And the newest trend is usually do with social media or it does with AI. So making that kind of what you build off of, nobody's gonna question if this 18-year-old knows how to use social media.
exactly. Yeah.
Also,
Especially if it's an
Hershey,
older business person. So it's like, well, most likely he can do social media better than me and my team that's busy, especially as a restaurant, which now I'm not even gonna get into why restaurants are worse for marketing, but
They don't have any
I
money.
just want to
You know,
say to you also, don't take any of these direct questions like the wrong way. I think everyone here is excited for you. You're 18, you have a huge life ahead of you, and you're obviously very ambitious. Just the intention is to help you really narrow it down and find what your passion is and what your skill is. Corey, you had something.
yeah, I was gonna give some advice to Hershey. I think he's like we all said, it's a little too broad, but I think you're on the right track to something. If you want to stick with the service industry and be a marketer in the service industry or pick a couple industries, I think you're trying to spread yourself way too thin by saying we want to help businesses because each industry runs a little bit different. And if you're going to do like the salon or service industry, do your research, understand the analytics of it, start collecting that analytical data because that's all data is always going to be key. So if you know all the analytical data for every barbershop and salon within a 10-mile radius of your home, now you got something to present. Now you have something tangible to offer to people. Hey, I know that rest salon A down the street, they're doing an average of 10 walk-ins a day. Their calendars is always booked. Salon B down, you have to understand the numbers. It's a numbers society. You can't just say your general knowledge of anything like that. You just pick an industry or two, understand how they work, understand them from top to bottom. So when you see these people, you're not coming there looking like someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. If you go to a pizza shop, you need to know what type of ovens are popular in your particular area. If you go to a laundromat, you need to know the top 5 manufacturers for that laundromat. Those are the key things that are get you in the door and get clients to see that you have value and you can provide value to their business.
There we go.
Great advice. Tanzila.
I have a question. I want to know anyone who would like to give me advice for if someone is leading their first major organizational change, what advice would you give to someone?
Can you be more specific? What type of change? Are you changing careers? Are you changing your entire team? Are you changing your products?
As in the organization, as we know that the staffing and the employee, they're mostly resistant towards change. And as someone who's leading that change, what advice would you give to someone in terms of communication or anything that
Why are you making the change? Why are you at what do you what's the reason?
I just wanted a general advice. Right now, I'm not any.
Okay, but they'll want to know what the reason is what I'm
The
getting
reason
at.
for the change.
So
Yeah, I agree with that.
if it's clear that it's of benefit to them, like telling my staff they need to know how to do the AI, it was better to give examples of how some of the staff is already using AI, and I included their comments on how it's really saved them hours and hours of time by doing this task and this task and this task. And then the others are all of a sudden curious, well, wait, how would this work for me? And then I didn't have to push it anymore. So it comes back to what's in it for them.
Okay.
I would also ask, like, are they resisting the change? And is it the majority of the team that's resisting the change? And if it's the majority of the team resisting, why are they resisting? And have you looked into the opposing concepts? And maybe you're the one that's being resistant.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question for Rick, actually, and also Nate. If you had to start over today, what would you do differently?
Great question.
Also, you, Abigail, as well. All 3 of you guys. I think that'll be a very. If you had to start over, what would you do? Also, I have a follow-up question, but this was my first question.
Knowing what I know now.
Yeah, knowing everything that you know now, and you started over, like personal-wise, business-wise, everything. Mindset-wise, I know a lot of mindsets change.
I think I would have approached business like I did sports when I was younger. I would just a straight kill mentality early on. I think when you get into business, there's a lot of like self-confidence issues. Like sometimes you like are like, is this gonna work? Like it's just questioning yourself. But like when I played basketball on the court, I never questioned myself. So that would be one mindset shift. Like early on, don't question yourself. Just go all in, no plan Bs, and just essentially kill.
That makes sense. Rick, what about you?
I would have hired people to replace myself sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Because you fall in love with what you're doing to the point where if you're not training others to take over the tasks from you, you're not really growing your business. And you end up working literally 22 hours a day like I did, falling asleep at my desk when I could have hired and started training other people sooner. And when I started doing that, all of a sudden it's a lot smoother because they do a better job of your job than you do.
I got a question with that. I do have a follow-up question, but I have a question with that specific point that you just made. I know a lot of people, if they start up a business and they get any meaningful amount of success, even if it's just a little bit, right? Like the problem they're going to run into is the fact that, like, let's say you make 50 grand a month. I mean, like, to hire another person, you might be only making 5 grand profit, right? So to hire another person is that profit, right? So then you take a huge pay cut just to hire somebody else, and you still work those same amount of hours, but you just get paid less. So how would you, navigate them through that?
You didn't hire the right person, if that's the case. That would be my takeaway from that, because
but
if you're not getting a monetary gain from hiring someone, you should at least be getting time.
Yeah,
If you're not getting time or money,
But
you
in
hired the
defense
wrong
of
role.
Carrie, it's very hard to pick the right person.
Okay.
And you're going to make mistakes and you're going to lose money hiring people.
True.
And you got to be prepared for that. That's why you really have to always keep hoarding a little bit of a reserve so that you can make mistakes but still take those steps.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Perfect. Yeah. My follow-up question goes to all three of you guys. It was about, okay, cool, right? Let's say that once you get going, right? This kind of comes before the question that I just asked, but like once you get going, like when I started, when I was making maybe like $20,000 a month, that's when like it comes to a point where like, do you really need more in terms of like, if you're younger, right? Like, cause I was maybe 20 when I was making that, but like, at a certain point, it's like, okay, well, why grow if it's probably going to go backwards? And Nate touched on it very, very great. He was like, what if this is not going to work? Right? Like when you start making money, you don't want to turn the clock and start putting more into it. You want to kind of like recluse and hoard it, like you just said, and take it all yourself. And you brought up a point in the beginning of our conversation where you said, why don't you stick with things longer? And that's something that you would be looking at with me specifically, but also in the person that you're investing in, right? When I started my cleaning company, I mean, the first month I was doing $6,000 a month. And then the second month I was doing 8, and then it went up to like 10. But that's obviously not profit. I was probably taking like $3,000 take home, right? Per month. But then when I switched into the cleaning company, the checks got larger in terms of like I was pulling in $60,000 to $80,000 a month, and maybe taking home like 10 to 20, right? And obviously that's before tax and things of that nature, right? But like at that point, right, when you're 19, 20 years old, I mean, like you're like, okay, I got enough.
But Carrie, what were you doing with the money you were making?
What I was,
Yeah.
yeah, I was putting it back in the company and stuff like that to grow it. But then I realized like the pool industry is not something that I can put all my time in and like actually enjoy it. And so after a year and a half, 2 years of it, it was just, not the best, which the previous partner that I was in it with, he thought the same thing. It's just, I say if you're going to do something, you got to be doing it for something way more than just money, because money is it's not a good
I
motive.
have two things for you. One, 20 grand a month is not enough to say I've done it. I'm done. That's like not 50 grand a month still isn't even
I mean, like,
that's not a done number.
like that's what you're putting.
Two, your goal, I mean, at least my
if you're
goal,
not doing any work in the business anymore.
well, that's number 2 point is like time. Like, what is your time worth to you? And like, so for me, for example, my goal wasn't necessarily 50 grand a month, and it depends on the phases of your life for sure, but at the over the last couple of years, my time has been the most important thing to me, just based on the stage and the lifestyle that I was living. I wanted time more than I wanted money, so I hired out income generating laborers and put them in place, and I stepped into more of a project management and client acquisition role. I am back in growth mode, where my time needs to be spent investing in my money into my business so I can make, so it depends on where you're at in your life. It depends on what your values are and what your goals are. But I would say, I would also question, how you're drawing that money out, why you're needing to put it back in. Is it being spent in a way that is most beneficial? I would want to dig in deep to your cash flow.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense. For me personally, I mean, when I say put it back in, I think the founder is most of the time the business until he builds a team. So I was putting it back in, like learning and coaching courses and things of that nature, not necessarily the business. I mean, the business made enough money to take care of itself, right? So like
Investing in yourself,
investing in
then.
myself, yeah.
Yes.
And I know I want to touch back on the point just for the other people that's younger in the chat. Well, she didn't mean like 20K a month isn't enough to stop. I mean, like when you're 19, if you make a 20 grand a month, I mean, you're doing pretty good, guy. I mean, like
You are. You are. I'm not.
And stay focused, right? Just don't do the crazy stuff, right? But
I'm just thinking, I work with companies that are making, tens of millions a year, and they're not done investing in the company. Like they still want to grow. They're still hiring a team. They're still buying equipment. Like they're still scaling. So and as part of that, going back to like, you know, the resisting team members, like you're always going to have a little bit of resistance in your team. And sometimes that means you have to have a turnover scenario, depending on what the resistance is.
Also, Curry, to kind of, from my perspective, I feel like it's different for everybody, right? I think Rick is gonna have a different answer than Abigail. I think Abigail's gonna have a different answer than me. To answer your question personally, I think the thing that just keeps me in business and just wanting to grow. One, I'm very competitive, so everything I see, I just like to compete just naturally, but also the impact that I wanted to make, right? Like I wanted to make this type of impact since I was like 9 years old. So it's always been like help the community give back and then like build stuff for the next generation. So the reason that I keep expanding and expanding and expanding, not only due to competition, is also just due to the impact I want to make. Like me personally, I want to change the world. So that's just naturally like I'm never satisfied. Like I'm grateful, but I'm never satisfied. And I'm just constantly like in kill mode, essentially. I'm just trying to win, win, win.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was in a burnout situation and a really unhealthy personal life situation, which required me to prioritize time over growth. So that's where, you know, that's what that decision, but I was able to continue to maintain and grow, you know, maybe 5% rather than 100%. So it depends on where you're at. But yes, like keeping focused on your purpose. Cody, and then we'll go to Hershey, and then I do want to wrap up.
I just wanted to say, Abigail, as always, I appreciate it. I didn't want to just peace out, but Kenneth's not here to match the quote, so I'm going to hold back a little bit. But I have a client at 7:30
and we
that I need to
lost you a
structure and
little bit.
email for. So I just wanted to say, appreciate everybody. My contact information is in there if anybody needs anything, or if you're in Dallas,
I forwarded
Texas, feel free to hit me.
your info sheet that you sent me on the IUL to a client of mine. So hopefully that turns into something for you.
Let's make it happen, and then I'll take you to Bali or wherever we're going.
Sold. Okay.
All right, guys, take care.
Bye, Cody. Adam, did you have something? It wasn't Adam, it was Hershey.
Oh, no.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, guys. I'm here every Thursday. I have these events scheduled out through the end of November. After that, we'll be using the same Zoom link every week. So it will make it a lot easier to return. I am so grateful for everyone's participation tonight. It has been such an awesome meeting, and usually it doesn't even go on this long, and people bail right on the hour. So you know that it was a high value session if everybody's still here. Hershey.
Yeah, so I just have something to say
Yeah.
before I leave or everyone leaves. I really want to appreciate Miss Abigail, Mr. Nate, Mr. Rick, Mr. Corey, Mr. Carey, and yeah, thank you so much for your questions and your curiosity, because your each question helped me, like it's probably the next step of my business to scale. And yeah, thank you so much for your questions. I think it really helped me a lot to like
I would
just
love for
realize
you to
that,
come back. I want to watch you grow.
yeah, I'll be here
I
next week again.
genuinely mean that. Please return. We want updates.
Yeah, sure. I'll probably join. I'll be here next week again, every
Cool.
week, as long as Miss Abigail hosts us. So thank you so much for this event. Thank you so
Of
much, everyone,
course.
for like connecting with us, and like, your curiosity, your questioning is just absolutely insane. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On that note, Rick, go
I want
ahead.
to say one quick thing to
Yeah.
the group, just quickly. One of the best people that we ever hired was in grade 12. He
Yeah.
just knew his tech stuff so well. We were so impressed that we couldn't figure out he was only in high school. It was shocking, but he knew his stuff, and we were happy to pay him, and it worked out really well. And it just, so I don't want to, I don't want to discount the fact that you're only in grade 12. You may have some very specialized tech or other knowledge that makes you very valuable to people. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you, so thank you.
One last question. I change subjects every month. So we've been doing business insights in October. Honestly, October has been so incredible. I don't even remember what I did in September. Anyone have a topic they would like to hear or participate in discussion about in the month of November? My mind is always in the accounting realm, so I could always go with the year end is upon us. Usually I'm starting emails lately.
I got a
Well,
few.
you
I
know
guess.
me, Abby. My mind is always in marketing, PR,
Yeah,
things like that. So
I love it. Carrie, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I said I got a few ideas. It just depends on who's in the call and like what they can offer because everyone has different skills. I mean, like
So
I'm
usually it attracts, like if I say I did marketing in May, it's really funny how the turnout correlates to the subject matter. Business Insights has attracted a diverse crowd for sure, but if we get super niche, sometimes it tends to attract the same industry, like financial planning or marketing people. And if you have thoughts too and you don't want to share them in this group tonight, you're welcome to email me directly. I will send an email recap out tomorrow and you'll have my contact information on my socials via that email as well.
perfect. I think sales will be a good one, especially if like we got more like younger people in here. I mean, because like I was there before. I mean, like if you don't have sales, you don't really have much of a business unless like you got investors like Rick, maybe, then you can kind of survive. But if you don't have sales, I mean, no one wants to buy something that, isn't
You
going.
won't have a Rick if you don't have sales though,
I mean,
probably.
the reason why I said Rick is because he does pre. So I mean,
True.
I think sales would be a good
pre-revenue.
one.
But
Yeah, we could do that.
yeah,
We
sales.
could definitely do that.
Or what is it? Conversions.
Yeah.
Conversions is good. Yeah, how to close.
Because I feel like that's more general. You can get a lot of different
Yeah,
things.
if I did sales, we would have a million marketing consultants in here. And I'd like to get business owners in here.
Yeah, I will make one comment. I was on another Zoom like this not long ago, called Dynamite something or other. The whole thing was consultants.
Mm,
And so they were basically all fishing for clients,
mm-hmm,
and it didn't make for a fun call
mm-hmm.
because you were basically listening to pitch after pitch after pitch as they introduced themselves, all saying, we sell insurance. Can you refer anybody? We do this, we do this. But it was like nobody was offering anything that helped anybody.
So that's why I host this specific way, because I'm honestly I don't give a shit about anyone's pitch, because it's you, the individual,
Yeah, I
that's
like
gonna
this
make
better.
me interested in working with you. And so I've built some real friendships here, and I hope that others can say the same thing and
Abby, stop calling on me then.
stop calling on you. I'm calling on Nate. Um, also, I have Kenny, who's not here tonight. He's been every single week since January. Kenny and I've met in person. Like I really pride myself on cultivating genuine connections with people. So this is not a pitch hour. This is a in-depth discussion hour, and I really
Where are
I
you
love it.
based, Abigail?
I didn't say that, did I?
No.
I am based in Maine, currently actually in New Hampshire, not far from my home in Maine. But yeah.
Hey, Abigail,
Like,
if you wanted, I can't find your email here for some reason. Would you mind?
Abigail@oldwoods.co, and I can drop it in the chat also. And I'm mostly active on Instagram.
Yeah,
I'll drop that too.
I mean, because I can come back every Thursday. Like, I don't mind being a regular.
Please do. Please do.
I think that I'll have some okay insights to add, but
You do.
I'm also, I don't really like giving out insights because I only give out my insights based on experience, which is I always have to like refer to my experience before I say an insight because I hate people that give out general advice that don't know what they're talking about, that didn't actually the thing. But I think I could, do my best to help you out.
I
in
feel
these-
like that's
You
how insight should work.
contributed well.
What she said,
It-
Nate?
I feel like that's how insight should work. If you haven't did it, I feel like you should.
My mentor taught me that like 2 years back, and he was like, we went to an EO entrepreneurship organization. It's a worldwide thing, but it doesn't really matter. But you just go to things and have conversations with people. But there's a rule in EO because you pay a lot of money to get in, that if you haven't done it or don't know anybody that's done it, just shut up because you can't. If someone asks you to pull up the receipts and you don't have the receipts, you probably shouldn't be talking about it. So that's kind of how I decided to live my life.
You are welcome to come back anytime. And although on the contrary of that, if you don't have any experience, ask questions. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm here to do, is ask questions, facilitate questions. But on that note, thank you guys so much. Take a second to connect with everyone in the chat if you haven't done that already. And otherwise, I will see you all, hopefully all of you, next week at 7 Eastern. Eventbrite. Check it out on Eventbrite. The link will be in the email update tomorrow.
Hopefully,
Very
I'll
nice. Thank you for having me. And hosting
Thank
us.
Have a
you,
good night,
everybody.
Thank you
everybody.
for hosting this.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, see you next time.
Bye.
Right.
Hey, Abigail, is it the Abigail?
Bye, bye, bye.
At oldwoods.co.
Okay, perfect. And then the top one at oldwoods.businessservices, is that a different one?
That's my Instagram.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can do both and that works. Yeah.
Yeah, and no M on that email. That is not a typo.
Oh, okay, cool. Perfect. Yeah. No, that works.
Cool. Thank you so much. You brought, and also, are you in your apartment and you have no furniture? You just work all the time.
Yeah, I do. I actually, yeah, I'm a very interesting individual, I guess people would say, but I don't think I'm that interesting. But no, I've started to join these things because all I do is work, and I work with my business partners and things of that nature. And
Yeah.
it's all I've been doing for the past couple of years. So I thought it was interesting to do this online thing because normally when I'm doing like meetups and stuff is in person with people that are already doing, a lot in terms of like revenue wise.
Yep.
So
I'm just gonna stop the recording.
no worries.
Just so